built. Yeah. Well, they got a meeting.
I don't know anything about Fisher. Okay.
Well. Do you think it's worth me going?
Sure, try.
I'll think I can. Yeah. I drive. That'd be our.
Thanks for that heads up for the solid waste.
Yeah.
All right, we do have a 10 a.m. We'll call the meeting in order and we'll write to.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, I just want to thank everybody for showing up today. It is warmed up a little bit, but now it sounds like we're getting some weather again this week. But anyways, we'll get on with the meeting here and start with public forum. And you can see, yeah, come on up.
Denise Weiss, Royalton Township. I've sent pictures to everybody. I think Skip and I were just talking about the lights that we are dealing with every day. And that these lights, you can't read a book. We can under different cloud decks. We've never changed anything in the photos that we have sent in. I know it's not just me that has sent in complaints. I know other people in the area because I will get texts at 3 a.m. from people up to 3 to 5 miles away. We have in the ordinance, some people have to have the blackout curtains and some people don't. There's no reason if a new business moves into any existing building that they don't modify it and make certain that it's good for the whole community, especially if it's been 2 years since something was growing in there. It's like saying to all these, we want you there, but then, you don't have to follow any of the rules that a new business would have to follow. If the rules are there for some of the businesses, they should be there for all of them. The lights are different. They're brighter. They need a 3-phase electric piped in because of the quantity of power that is needed to operate these new lights. They've had new plastic. in our particular area. This is not something that I think should have to go to a lawsuit. This should be something that is just a common denominator that we're going to make certain to support residents of an existing area. I know I heard last weekend, I believe it was Josh Moore, it said they've been involved, you guys have been involved with a lot of lawsuits. I don't think lawsuits is the way to go for a county. That's not the best resources of my tax dollars, but is that what you guys are saying, that we have to get to that level? When it's okay, when you have rules, some buildings have to have this, but not others. It should be a flat, everybody needs to have blackout curtains. Not, some people don't, some people do. I've given the information that states in one of the largest hydroponic places, it used to be that they are able to put blackout curtains in there. The old crops didn't need that type of thing. They didn't need lights the way they are. None of that. It's different. It's different. And I keep asking and I'll keep coming up here. I have been told recently, a few moments ago, we're barking up the wrong tree, but darn it, we have to live with this every day. And where the cloud deck is depends on how bright it's going to be, and it could change within an hour. So if the blackout curtains were there, that's one less thing you'd hear from us. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else in the public here want to talk?
You're on the agenda.
Okay. Anybody online, right? No. Okay. With that, we will move to the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair, members of the board. We have a few corrections and additions. So we have a correction to consent item number 12A, the new hire of the probation agent. The corrected start date should be January 5th, 2026. We have an addition to consent item, adding it as consent item 3C, an update to the offsite gambling application that was approved at the last meeting. They have a corrected date for that event of January 17th. And then just additional information for regular agenda item number 1, the minutes of the personnel committee from December 11th.
All right.
I'll move the agenda as amended.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, we got a motion by Holland, second by Waldham. Is there any discussion on it? I looked officially 183 pages, so. Thanks again, Deb, for putting all that on electronic, so I can read it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same thing. Approve the minutes of the December 2nd, 2025 regular county board meeting and summary for publication, and December 4th, 2025 truth and taxation minutes.
Ludwig will move.
All right. Motion by Ludwig,
I'll second.
second by Holland. Any discussion on them? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same thing. And there's no minutes of the boards, committees, and correspondence, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. With the additions.
Move the consent.
All right,
Second.
got a motion by Nelson, second by Ludwig on the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same thing. All right, moving on to the regular agenda. I think that was 150 pages, so we're just hammering these again. Or maybe 168 is where I was. Personnel committee report. Ludwig, you want to take it?
I will. I'm gonna work from our agenda from the meeting, Mr. Chair. And is that all right if I take it by department and vote by department?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Thank you. I'll start with highway. We'll authorize the backfill of highway maintenance worker position resulting in a previous retirement, and it's past the 2-month waiting period, and it's classified as a grade 6 with a minimum starting 23.62 an hour. It's in the 2025-2026 Public Works budget. And then I'll move on to a highway maintenance mechanic. It was also, reported promotion. Then in September was subject to a 2-month pause. That's a grade 7 with the starting wage of $24.66 per hour and included in the 25 to 2026 Public Works budget. And I will move that, Mr. Chair.
I'll second. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same thing.
Okay, and then I'll move to Sheriff's Office Jail. Approve the backfill of a part-time corrections officer position due to a recent promotion to a full-time. The position is classified as grade 7, starting wage of $26.13 an hour and included in the 2025-2026 budget. Recruitment will occur at a later date, and he just wants to get a part-timer on board because right now they have the COVID going through the jail. They're using part-time staff like crazy. I think he had 14 that were sick at one time, but it's going to be a delayed hire. And I will move that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same thing.
Environmental Services, acknowledge the resignation of environmental technician Samantha Gasser effective December 12th. Position is classified as a grade 8, minimum starting salary of $26.14. Included in the 25-26 Environmental Services budget, and backfill will be considered at a later date. And I'll move that.
I'll second that. Little discussion on that was, we've had some turnover there, but this one, she took, like something came up family wise and it was a good opportunity for her to move on. So it wasn't that she didn't like the county or wasn't going good. It was something else came up that, life decision. So that's where,
Yeah, a family business.
yeah. So that's, because when I seen it, I was a little nervous and then when they explained it. So,
Question.
yeah,
So when is the thought to backfill? It says at a later date.
Yeah.
What is that?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, our thought is probably to come back to the February personnel, with the hope of starting recruitment in February with getting somebody on in early April, just in time for construction season.
all right. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same thing.
I'll move on to Health and Human Services. This is all part of that restructure that we talked about in the past. We acknowledge the resignation of social worker Brooke Parks effective December 10th and approve the backfill of subsequent vacancies resulting from internal promotion or lateral transfer. Classified as a grade 10. Minimum starting salary $29.38. With this position, there's roughly a $8,000 to a $10,000 recoup or reimbursement on that position. Acknowledge the resignation of social worker. I'll back up, Mr. Chair. That social worker left because she got $15 an hour more at another position. So we know. Down part B, acknowledge the resignation of social worker Christian Guerin effective December 1st, 2025. That was that licensed independent clinical social work where that position was eliminated. So she exercised her seniority rights and took a position in the labor agreement that was I can't remember who left there anyway, but she she just busted down another position in the labor department to a grade 14, 38.66 an hour. And then the grade 10 was at 38.19 an hour in accordance with the labor production. So it'll change from 14 to the 38.14 to the 38. Authorize the backfill of eligibility worker position due to previously reported resignation in October. This is subject to a 2-month replacement pause. Position classified as a grade 6 with a minimum starting wage of $23.26 per hour and included in the 2026 HSS budget. And approval is also requested for any backfill or subsequent vacancies resulting from internal promotion. Request approval to regrade child support supervisor position from a grade 14 to a grade 15 and to retitle the position as a support and fiscal integrity supervisor following a position review. Using the Springstead classification and compensation safe system, additional points were awarded in the areas of training and ability, human relation skills, and staff supervision. Also requested for the updated job description. There'll be no immediate change in pay. Request approval to regrade social services supervisor position from Pat Meacham from a grade 15 to a newly established grade 16 and to retitle the position as a social services manager following the position review using the Springstead class and comp study. So approval is also requested for updated job description. HR director will work with exclusive representation to establish the grade 16 wages. A lot there, but Mr. Chair, I'll move those.
I'll second. I have a little bit to add. Like you said, the first one, she left because she did get a promotion going somewhere else and it was a substantial change in pay. And the second one, that one was in that restructure, a position got eliminated and like Matt said, with the way the seniority works, that person was off and the other person had the opportunity to take that position. So that's where that one went out. And then that might have been all I had. There is a lot there. Most of the rest of it was just trying to finalize some of that restructure in HHS and get everything appropriate, job descriptions and that stuff. So is there any other questions?
I'll just add that I'm on the Health and Human Services Committee and it's that restructuring is something that's been worked on and refined for the last several months. So it's pretty well vetted.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say. Okay. We got more. Matt, you gonna keep going? You gonna keep going?
We're done, aren't we?
Item.
Oh, what do I? Oh, no. The rest of,
Information.
yeah, I don't think we need to do that.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, the rest of it's just information. So. Okay, now for the fun part. Recognition of service to Skip Thompson. So do you want to take it or?
I think
it's gonna take it? Real quick, or yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got it. Well, Skip, we're gonna present you with the certificate. Thank you much. Thank you for 12 years of service. I'm just gonna give a little talk. It's in their thing, but Skip was 12 years with the Planning and Zoning Board. He worked on the first comp plan that hasn't been updated in 25 years, and I think we all were part of that. We were doing a lot of work, but Skip, you did a lot of work on that. Well, it's in there, the addition of the county's first zoning ordinance, that was we never had one, and you worked on that. And then preparing the county for the cannabis, there's a lot of work, and you're always handling day-to-day zoning stuff too in that zoning board, so thank you again.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate being here.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
All right. And moving on to zoning board appointments. Do you want me to read this off?
You sure can.
All right, so consider appointing Nancy Riss, representing District 1, Kirk Nelson representing District 3, Terry O'Rourke representing District 5, and Patrick Shuffledecker as at-large members to the Pine County Zoning Board for the term of the appointment effective January 1, 2026, and expiring on December 31, 2029. All per diems and mileage associated with the appointments are included in the zoning department budget.
And Mr. Chair, that is a chair appointment.
Okay, so we don't need any.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. Well, that's done. That's why I had to read
Yeah.
it. All right, so the second best part, maybe, I don't, I'll say it. I always enjoy when Joel's here. So Pine Technical and Community College update and trail recognition. Joel Mulford, president of Pine Technical and Community College.
Mr. Chair, I feel like you've created some expectations. I can live up to them. So geez.
You're getting that.
I've been working on my dad jokes, but I don't know how much better. So a couple parts, as noted on the agenda. First of all, thanks for having me, finding some time for me to be here. I know it's a very busy time of year for any board work that's happening as we finish out the calendar year. I wanted to come and really recognize you as board members and some of the staff at Pine County for a project that just completed. I think in late October, early November is when the trail expansion happened just to our south. And I'm sure, through that decision-making process, you're well aware of that, but we're starting to see some of the benefits of that. And I just wanted to come acknowledge it. I'm sure you have people that come to board meetings for all kinds of purposes and maybe not always to say thank you. As we try to do our job and educate more students in this region, bring people to a great place to go to school, those are amenities that make a difference for everybody and might not be the sole decision point for them, but it definitely adds up to there. So we're already seeing staff and faculty and students use that resource, and it's only been open for a few weeks, so I think that'll continue. So we've been involved with some of the discussions. I wouldn't say I'm in my 11th year now as president at Pine Technical and Community College, but most of that time there's been a lot of trail discussions, some of which was completed as the trail went up the east side of the lake. And then now most recently this addition. And then there's some discussions happening, I know, in Pine City around connecting those two trails and how that might look or not. We're excited to see that. Like I said, we see people using it. And so I did bring up, I won't read the letter, but I would like to present or bring this letter just as a formal recognition of that resource. And again, I think what helps us do what we want to do and should be doing is some of these other resources that we don't control, like bike paths or, pedestrian movement. But it definitely helps us to be able to do that. So I don't know the easiest way to do that. I can just leave it here too, if you want, or pass.
To Deb.
So again, thank you for that. I just wanted to recognize that. And I've had a chance myself to be out on there, and actually the first day took a picture, a little selfie at the Rock Creek sign. I made it that far and back. I don't know, beyond there, it was probably getting suspect, but we've had a good chance, and we're starting to see some student life build up around that, running clubs, things like that people are talking about. The other part is I just wanted to come and I don't remember the last time I was at the board meeting, one of your board meetings, to just give you a quick update on the college. It connects closely to the bike expansion or the bike trail expansion, in that we're also doing a major renovation right now. We should be finishing, I think it'll be about mid-May, end of May, our building expansion and remodel. And so a couple of years ago, we did a reconfiguration of the outside of our building, added a bunch of sidewalk, and we see people again utilizing that state resource that's there too. So it'll be nice as those get connected. Our building expansion, just to remind everybody, it was a $25 million state-funded bonding project. It included adding about 24,000 square feet to the building. And so some of you have been down there and seen it, but basically if you've been there at any time in your life, it was an expansion. So we have a brand new auto shop that came online this fall. We have a brand new gunsmithing lab that came online this fall. And then we're also added a brand new welding lab. So those are all up and running right now. There's still a few loose ends that we're finishing up through fall semester here, but that part of the project is completed. And then throughout the rest of this year, we're remodeling the spaces that those folks were in. So we'll have a brand new simulation lab that'll be in our former gunsmithing lab. Our former auto shop becomes a new automation lab, which then also allows us to expand our machine shop. So arguably every technical program that we have will have either brand new square footage or reconfigured square footage. And so that's really been helpful. And it's been a massive project on, on top of what we're normally doing day to day and trying to work with that, but we're getting to the end of the project. So I think we'll be in a good position. We've already started to roll out some new curriculum. As an example, previously when we were running our welding program in a semi-trailer, we couldn't add the second year of curriculum, and now we have a second year. So we'll have a full 2-year degree in welding and be able to get to some more of the advanced skills that I think are important to employers in our area. We just did not have the facilities for it. We've been able to bring in more nursing students this year because of the expanded technical lab space that we'll have for them. That was a pressure point. We expanded our welding program where last year we could only bring in a maximum of 20 students. This year we brought in 40. And in the gunsmithing program, we had a maximum number of new students at 20, and we were able to go to 25 now. So, and they were all full again this fall. So we've already seen people benefit from that. So, yeah. So a lot going on around there and hopefully more to go. Our enrollment has been very strong, and it's kind of a fun in my career over almost 30 years now to really see the pendulum swing back towards career technical education pathways. I think people have really gotten a hold of that again in the high schools and just kind of more in a societal sense too. So we're seeing a lot of interest in those pathways. Open any questions or?
I got one comment I'd like to make, Joe. A young lady waited on my wife and I the other night, and I knew she was a student at Pine Tech, and I just asked her how things were going. And she was so excited to tell me that she's second in her class. She's taken welding. She said someday she hopes to be as good as her grandpa, but not sure she'll achieve that. She is very excited for a career that we, people my age would think of as not a career for a young lady, but it is an open field, and she probably got a pretty good ticket to success.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's still very, 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 very high demand for our graduates. We can never say like there's a job for everybody because people don't go into the field they took courses in or they decided to do something different. But arguably, if people want to work in the field that they're being trained in any of our programs, there's employers looking for them. Yeah, it's, I think in one of the things that with our project that I'm really hopeful for, and I can't remember, I think it was last fall or earlier this fall, we had a group that was down, and maybe some of you were in that group, but I was telling the group at that time, one of the things that you'll see, and I want you to look for when you come back to the building is over, again, many years, and I've always worked around technical education. I've always worked at 2-year schools. It's just where my heart is. But one of the things I always heard from people is, why don't more people go into, fill in the blank, machining or welding, and there's, good jobs. And part of the reason it doesn't show very well. So employers are kind of in buildings that, not everybody goes into them. They don't always know what's going on versus some other things you might see on TV, or you go to a hospital, or what a teacher does and those kind of things. And so it's really been in my head trying to figure out how we could address that. And it won't fix all that, but so what we were able to do in this project that I think is going to make a difference for us as we worry about that is all of our labs have glass fronts on them now. So I always say we're put a retail front on technical education. So when you go in there, you can see what's happening in these really cool labs with robotic automation systems, welding, and there's safety, and you can't just be, staring in the welding lab, but you can see what's happening. So I think it's going to be much easier for people to connect to that when they just are passively in the building on a 9th grade tour, and maybe they don't know what they're going to do yet, but they're going to be able to see that. And part of our logistical problem for all schools is you can't shut down those labs to just bring 30 9th graders through there. They've got to get their curriculum done. And so I think we're going to have a better chance for people to see things that, that looks pretty fun, or it doesn't look like it used to, or maybe my perception because, somebody I know works in a shop, but not all welding shops look like that. There's some really high tech stuff out there. So that's one of the things I think, we'll see over time, but it was really it woven into our design outside of just ability to serve more students, create more efficiencies in those labs and functionality. And then I think also to be able to get some people off the sidelines too. So, we'll see.
Sure. Yeah.
So I imagine you guys keep up with what's going on, but let's just say, for example, the hottest job or the most in-demand job right now is let's just say heating and cooling.
Sure.
You guys follow like those trends or see where the need is? And then do you currently like keep up with it?
Yeah, sort of. It's some of those labs, so some of the challenges are some of those industries, especially those more technical ones, are so lab intensive. And so it's really hard for us to do, like, if I could get a diesel lab, I'd have a diesel program yesterday. But it's your millions, there's just a financial headwind that's really hard for us to overcome. But inside of the industries that we serve right now in the construction trades, manufacturing, healthcare, we under our board policy, so we're one of 27 two-year schools in the state. And it's a requirement. It's not just, a nicety that we have industry advisory committees. So one of the first concerns is you want to make sure if you do have a welding program, is it staying current? Is it still meeting that, whatever that might be, or machining as an example, automation. So we are doing that on an annual basis. We're meeting with our advisory committee. We're adding new equipment or changing curriculum if it just doesn't make as much sense anymore. I wish I had 3 or 4 of the big programs, and maybe someday we will.
Diesel was one.
Diesel's one. I think the construction trades were fairly narrow in there right now, especially in the licensable and mechanical trades. We do have a construction program that we started about 3 years ago. It's a little bit of a generalist program, and that was very strategic because we only had a lab that could handle one program at that time based on square footage. And so the program has been really well received in full. And so I think as we're going to be able to do more specialty like construction, electrician, HVAC, some of those areas that it takes, you got to go to school for them, or they're just really difficult if you haven't gone to school. There's apprenticeship programs in different avenues, but they tend to lead more towards state licensure, some of those kind of upper level skills. I think the wages are commensurate with that too. Like I said, diesel would be a great one. We've looked at a lot of other things related to that. We're always thinking about new programming, and some of that is reconfiguring how we offer certain ones like academy styles. So a big change for the college that happened last year was we got student housing available. That was the killer for us for a long time. We just couldn't do some of that type of programming. But now with the Lakeside Medical Center in Pine City being converted to dorm style housing, we're looking at more modalities like come to school for the summer, and instead of going a full semester, you could go for like 2 months and you're going 35 hours a week and we can get you in and get you out. That might fit some people better. So there's things like that when we talk about new programming. It might not just be like diesel that we don't have. It might be reconfiguring what we're doing just to be more user friendly or more accessible for people, because not everybody can go to school for 2 years. That's so.
Right. And then there's just another thing, AI.
Yeah.
That being so big and new, of course. What are you guys getting geared up for that?
Yeah, so our preliminary discussions around AI is similar to when automation really started to take off. Is there will be some degrees that are kind of AI focused, maybe on the development side, but I think more of where we're going to see AI at our college is just woven through all the programs, like you would teach safety. So people are going to need to utilize that technology, this tool that now exists that didn't a few years ago, just like the internet a few years back. We were having the same discussion. If you're in our automation program, you're going to need to understand how that can support that work. Or if you're in nursing, as an example, and all the scanning and just kind of things that are coming out through healthcare. I don't have all the answers on that yet. It's still obviously very new for somebody like myself and the college. But I think generally speaking, it'll be more that we will have it adapted through all the programs that we offer, because it's just going to be a part of everything. Our technicians or nurses or whoever are going to be out. We've got a cybersecurity program in the IT area, but again, that's different than what they're doing when they're developing some of the AI stuff that, again, I'm not an expert in.
You mentioned safety, security. I don't know much about it. I struggle with the computer. But can AI be doing people's schoolwork for them right now? How do you?
They are doing it. I mean, it's
The quality of the, and the knowledge that, that the industries and the hiring people deserve if you have to watch, who's doing their homework.
Yeah, we're seeing it in 2 ways: is fraud. Number one is people are trying to apply to get into school to get financial aid dollars. And they're using fake IDs, they're using AI. So it used to be the firewalls you had to kind of catch some of that is all changed now because they will go in. And so we would have, as a specific example, you could catch somebody because they might get through on a fraudulent online application. They apply for school, and we have online students from northern Minnesota that take a class from us. That's not uncommon. But all of a sudden, if they didn't show up the first week of school, we have a requirement that they get dropped because maybe they just changed their mind and forgot to drop their class. We don't want to charge them, or they're fake. But now the AI tools are actually going in and doing the, hey, tell us about yourself, that first week of school type stuff. It's gotten really sophisticated, and they're stealing IDs. And so ironically, we're going back to the basics, which is you have to show up with your driver's license now. And it's not that people can't still get around things, but we're going back to more paper applications. So fortunately, I'm old enough to remember all that, and it's not too scary because that's how we did it back then. But ironically, it's going more primitive to be able to stop some of that.
Sure.
But on the learning side, and I'm sure high schools are dealing with it as well, students are using AI tools. There's scans. So as an example, if you take an English composition class, there's a countermeasure that they can do to run the papers in there, and it'll pick up somehow, and this is outside of my technology understanding, that has got a baseline of AI in it. There's certain cues that get picked up in the coding apparently. But this is also an example where the ultimate fail safe is have somebody sit down in front of you and say, you've got an hour to write a paper. I mean, there's ways around it. It's just kind of going back to where we started, I think is where we'll see it. But we're learning. To be full disclosure, it's all very new.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to talk about this later, but I think this is appropriate time. So at AMC conference this last week, I went to a seminar put on by Kelly Ash, ruralminnesota.org. A great presentation about, and it was very data driven about what's causing some of the migration that we're seeing from our rural areas. They're leaving, kids are leaving once they finish education. And what can we do to understand that? And one of the great takeaways that he had was this whole technical area of education, not only with the technical schools, but the two-year schools and even into the high schools, and how really focusing on that can really change the dynamics of people, instead of leaving, actually staying and jobs in the area and such. It was really interesting to hear, his data presentation, and coupled with the real life experiences of other counties and what they're doing to combat that. I think I mentioned it to Kelly, this may be something of a subject for our county schools, meetings that we have every couple of months. Maybe if this guy came and presented to us, it was an excellent, and it wasn't just data, it was some practical things about, maybe we rethink this, and the data shows that it works. So I just wanted to bring that up. So.
Now, Commissioner Nelson, I've seen, I don't know if it was that exact presentation, I've seen him present at a different meeting in the last year or so. And so agree. And what we know historically is that people that attend regional colleges like Pine Technical and Community College tend to stay in the area. 70% of our students come within about a 45-mile radius of us. There's exceptions to that. Gunsmithing, maybe people move from a little further away, or there's some of those specialty program areas. But generally we serve our region, whatever, kind of circle, and then people tend to maybe go to a different school. And so one of the things that I'm focused on right now, and what we're having conversations, and maybe this is a little more centric to just Pine City, but what we've really seen since student housing came in is people, and it's why I wanted to come and recognize, one of the reasons I wanted to come and recognize the trail, because people aren't just shopping us for our great welding program anymore. they're becoming resident students. And so that's a completely new day for us. And so we're seeing students that even if they're from within that 45-mile radius, so they're from Willow River, let's say, that might be kind of on the edge of our territory per se. And then maybe from there, they tend to go more towards, Lake Superior College in Duluth. They want some of those other pieces, that social aspect, meaning they're in the dorms with their buddy, they're saving a little time, there's a job in town at Walmart or somewhere for them to work while they're going to school. And then those other things like that we have responsibility for, like student life, they want to get together and do things. And we created a recreation centers as an outcome of that recognition too, where they want to go and play pool or big buck hunter or whatever. We do some watch Monday Night Football, whatever we do, that's pretty straightforward. But so my comment to the folks in Pine City specifically is that we have been a town with a college, and we're going to have to become a college town as we see more and more students populate that housing. And we maybe go from right now, there was about 50 living in there this year, and it has up to 150. My anticipation is if there's 150 and they're busting seams in that dorm, somebody else is going to figure out and kind of keep that momentum. I don't know where that ends up at, but I think for our region too, one of the things that I don't want us to do is recruit, retain, train, and then ship back to Alexandria, these really highly skilled nurses and welders, and let's keep them. So, but they like to hunt, they like to fish. Those are the students that come to Pine. They want to make friends and get involved with social clubs. So I think there's a way for us to kind of build them into our fabric while they're students. I think we can do and again, it's not that we haven't done a bad job. It just hasn't been a big deal, but it needs to start to be something we talk more about as a region. And I think maybe, we'll keep them.
Well, I know I'm a huge supporter of the college. I'm on one of the advisory boards in automotive, and we are so fortunate to have you guys there. So I appreciate every bit of it, and if you ever need any help from us, definitely holler. So I do like your tie. I'm not a tie guy, but I don't know where to get one.
I got this from a very special person that works in my office. I got it as a gift last year. I love it. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? So.
I got it in the bookstore or something.
No, it did not, but yeah, it should be,
And you guys just hit a big milestone, 60 years.
Yes, we did.
Congratulations on that. I was unable to make it, but I appreciate it. So, but yeah.
And keep running because one thing I did manage to do at AMC was have a real good sit down with a couple of commissioners from Chisago County. And we have said for many years that they have to build up to the Pine County line and we have to build to the Chisago line. And they are committed to doing that. And so we'll get that at least from White Bear Lake to Pine City section done. I think I can see that light at the end of the tunnel for that.
Yeah, I have a specific example, and I'll get out of your way, is one of our nursing faculty lives in Rock Creek, and I saw her on her bike, and she'd never biked to work before because it just, Highway 61's busy road and all that. And she bikes the trail now because she can at least get down to 70, and then I don't know how much further it is from there. But for her, that was just really, so from an employment sense, that's a real bonus for us. That's just a value add. So we appreciate it. And again, we couldn't do the work we're doing without some of these other partnerships, and so we appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks.
Well, thanks again.
Take care.
All right, we'll move on to exciting, but not quite as exciting as that. So. Bridge replacement priority list.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So bringing before you a bridge replacement priority resolution. So this is something the highway department will do every few years. I think the last one was 5 years ago. In order for us to receive Minnesota State Bridge Bond funding, we've got to have the bridge that we apply for the funds on a resolution that just says the county board supports replacing this bridge. So there's only 2 on this. We've been getting after it these past few years. So one of the bridges is CASA 61. That's Main Street, Snake River Bridge. So that's in the throes of the design process right now. And I found out that there likely is some substantial bond funding available for that, so I want to get this resolution passed so that I can put in for those. Then the other one here is just a culvert on gravel road, County Road 144, a few miles out east of Carrick. But it's potential that we could get bond funds on that as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, the first bridge that was Pine City then, right? The one-
Yep. That's correct.
So we need a motion.
I'll move that.
Okay. Motion by Ludwig,
A second.
second by Welken. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, what is it like on the County Road 154? I know it's weather can get in the way, but what does it take for a project like that to start to finish?
Couple of weeks.
Couple weeks, that's it?
Yeah, it'll probably be a box culvert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll do it
The one in Pine City. That's a big project, right?
greater than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Week and a half, 3 weeks?
Well, okay, so part of the reason going for bond funds is the cost of that's going up. Part of the reason the cost is going up is we're trying to do it in halves to keep a lane open each way. And that drives cost up, that drives construction time up. So we're trying to, you can pull the Band-Aid off fast or slow. And on this one, we're gonna try to do it slow so that we can keep that open through town. It's gonna be around a year. I'm going to apply there's times when you can't work in the water with the DNR, April through end of June. So I've been able to get some stream waivers, get a waiver so that they'll let you work in water, depending on the type of work that you're doing, the type of fish, usually they say no. Now, we've got some other things working with them. If we can negotiate that will speed construction by several months. So I don't know yet. I'll probably know. We'll have tentative dates, probably late winter, spring.
I did hear something where they were worried about digging up the old ramp or something. What was that all working okay with the DNR there?
Their main concern during the fish spawning season is that you're just mucking up the water.
Yeah, okay.
If there's no trout, there's better chance that you can get some better dates, and there aren't in there. So they've got their species of greatest concern.
Yeah.
And if what we're doing is a big impact to them, then we can't be in there then. But what we typically try to do is start a project in the winter and get out of the water for at least one phase before our fish restriction time starts. Then keep working above the water. Then hopefully if you can have it staged well enough and things go well enough, get back in the water then and do the next phase once those restrictions are up. If we can have them waived or reduced, it just opens up the amount of work you can be doing at the same time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Will the waterway remain open during
Yeah.
construction so people can,
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah, there may be times where you got to close it off because there could be debris falling, but no, by and large, it'll remain open.
Oh.
And then the DNR, we're going to talk about this after at the land committee, but they're wanting to redo that boat ramp there. So that may or may not happen, but they want to time that with our work too.
Okay, yeah, I know original.
That'd be huge if they could time that together.
Yeah. I know originally they weren't, but
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they want to do it while we're doing ours. I think that's what their hope is.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, so hopefully we can use that stream waiver restriction I talked about earlier. Hopefully we can get that through by coupling it with their project that they need from us.
perfect.
The full box culvert supply and demand. Yeah, we've had challenges with that, so is that all done now?
I think that's all done. Yep. This last year, we had 1 or 2 box culverts. There were no supply issues. And those we can typically time when water's low, and that's why they come in, knock it out in a couple of weeks.
All right, any other questions, comments? We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All same thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, 2026 county property tax levy and budget. Consider the approval of resolution 2025-46, setting the 2026 Pine County property tax levy at $23,379,297 and authorize the board chair and county administrator to sign. So we need a motion on that.
I'll move that.
Okay, motion by Holland, you got a second?
How do we go second?
Okay, second by Ludwig. Is there any discussion on the levy?
I have one question.
Okay.
It turns out it's the same percentage we've been talking about, correct?
Correct, that is the same percentage.
Same percentage, so we didn't get a dollar amount instead of percent. Yeah.
No, we always have to levy in dollars, not percentages.
Gotcha.
That's why it's listed.
So, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, not a
Yeah.
question, it's more of a comment.
Okay,
So I guess I just want to say thank you to our staff for working very diligently on this. When we set a target of 2.6% increase way back, I think there was a little bit of angst of how are we going to get down to that, initially. But we made it there. And we made it there by some looking back at departments, sharpening the pencil. Some of them were creative, and we're just finishing on a restructuring, for HHS. That was part of it. There are some fund balance usage in this, not a huge amount, but all of that to say, it was a challenge, but I feel good that our staff rose to that challenge. Now, when you look at where our preliminary was in comparison to other counties, we were second from the bottom as far as a preliminary levy. Now, our final levy, we're still going to be there. There are other counties that may be, they're lowering theirs, and we may not be at the bottom anymore per se, but I think it says two things in comparison to other counties. There were some counties that chose to have a high preliminary levy, and they're probably going to levy high. And in anticipation of some of the cost shifts and the additional things that are coming down the pike. Now, I think we chose to go a different route rather than sort of take the safe route and levy extra dollars of our tax people just in case, with hopes that, I think we took a position of where, this is where we're at. And if those things come, we need to be transparent about what's going to happen next year. And by levying a little more this year and sort of fudging through that, like some counties, I don't think it's being in the best interest of the taxpayers to see the whole picture of what's really happening. So just for example, we need to keep in mind next year, and we heard this at AMC, we've been hearing this all summer, if just in our HHS department, and I can't pronounce all the acronyms, we're just going to call it the ACT, the African American Disparities, it goes on. We'll just call it the ACT.
You did good.
Great, I'm working. So if we have that coupled with the shift in SNAP funding, as far as our administrative costs going from 75 to 50, just those two pieces alone, and I think our staff worked on this a long time, and they've kind of refined along the way. I mean, that's a $1.2 million hit to our county that we've never had before. We've never had those sort of things from the feds and the state, coupled together. Now, if you translate what that's going to mean next year, that would be a 5.25% levy increase just to cover those two things, which are way beyond our control. So I'm just warning, not us, and it's not new news to us, but it may be new news to the public, or they need to be aware of this those are the ramifications. If those things don't change at the federal and the state level, we are going to be stuck with paying that bill. And we've absorbed a bunch of things in this budget, but we cannot absorb another $1.2 million, it just in one department that's getting shoved on us. So, yeah, I think we're doing a great job, but let's not,
Can't do the happy dance very long.
exactly. The work is still yet to be done this upcoming year, and I think we're still gonna continue to look at some maybe creative ways in which we can increase revenues, and maybe we have to look at, how we're delivering some services, and we're gonna have to take a look at some of those things this next year, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and like you said, most of them are stuff we have no control on. We're told we have to do it by law, and the funds are going away for it. So, and that was just a couple of quite a few, like you touched on. So, that is a scary thing. And I think one thing I learned a long time ago is we got to take each year where it is. And this year we did it. We don't know where next year will be. But we do have a lot of positives coming out of it. There was a lot of hard decisions, and I'm pretty proud of it. I'm proud of the staff, proud of this board. I think we did a pretty good job. So, is there any other discussion on the levy? We have a motion in a second, right? Yeah, that's like that. Okay, I just want to make sure. I could write it down. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same thing. All right, so resolution 2025-47, adopting the 2026 Pine County budget as shown on the attached budget summary, and authorize the board chair and county administrator to sign.
I'll move that, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Motion by Ludwig, we got a second.
Oh,
All right, second by Holland.
Yeah,
And again, I think we kind of touched on this, the budget. A lot of really hard work was done for a few months, well, all year essentially. I mean, we started the budget back in July.
Right,
Yeah,
you guys did.
Yeah.
Staff
Yeah.
started in March.
yeah, exactly. So, again, pretty proud of this budget. You guys did a great job. All we had to do is sit here and say sure or cut. Staff and everybody did the hard work, but appreciate it again. And is there any other discussion on the budget? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
aye,
Opposed, same thing. Okay, 2026 county sheriff and county attorney salaries. We'll start with the county attorney. Consider the 2026 salary for county attorney Reese Frederickson. On November 10th of 2025, the personnel committee recommended $171,999 or $997 effective January 1, 2026, which is a 5% increase. I will make a motion for that.
I'll second.
Okay. Was that Ludwig or?
yeah,
Okay. Is there any discussion? A little background in personnel, both, well, I'll start with the county attorney, provided information on their wage, on their salary. Part of it is they don't get a step increase. And so like most other, well, everybody else gets a COLA and a step. So that's where we arrived at the 5%. Just a little background, if anybody else got any discussion on it.
I'd add it with his comparables around the counties around us, he's in the ballpark.
Yeah, yeah. And also, he's been here for 11 years, right? And so I gotta make sure. I know we got elected at the same time, but sometimes they blur. So I don't know. That's where we arrived and any discussion? Yeah,
Did the committee look at, just say a dollar rather than a percentage? Because, you know, when you're at the top of the scale, a percentage is, you know, when you talk just percentages, if you're at the top of the scale versus at the bottom of the scale, you know, when we talk about, you know, cost of living, it's a big dollar difference. So I guess my question was,
Yeah.
did the committee factor that in, or?
the elected officials aren't on a scale. So that's kind of part of it is it's just set dollar. So we tend to go off a percentage because it's easier to, well, it's not easier, it's just percentages seem to be what people follow versus the dollar amount. I don't know. That's a good point. So. And I don't know, Vince, did you have anything to add or not really?
No, not that. I think you summarized it well.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's hard. We gotta do this every year. These guys gotta come to us and say, hey, we're worth more or less or whatever, or the same.
Anybody comes and says we're worth less.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first few years, and we've had years where I think you've taken a zero, right? I'm trying to think back, but, you know, there's times where we did a little bit of catching up and I think he's in a good spot now and, yeah, that's where we are. So, anybody else got any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, same thing.
I oppose.
Okay. All right. The discussion area would have been a perfect time to maybe say why you oppose, but that's all right. Consider the 2026 salary for the county sheriff, Jeff Nelson, on November 10th, 2025. The personnel committee recommended $156,338 effective January 1, 2026, which is a 5% increase. Pretty much the same thing I said about the sheriff, or about the county attorney. Goes to Jeff as well. Been in his position the same amount of time. And, yeah. I mean, we kind of hit on most of the stuff. With that, I forgot, we don't have a motion yet. I would make the motion for that.
I'll second.
Okay. And, I don't know if there's any other discussion. That's how we arrived at it. Any questions, comments, discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, same thing.
I oppose.
All right. My comments would stand again. Be nice to know why you oppose, but that's your choice. 2026 non-union, non-elected wage adjustments. Consider the approval of a 3% cost of living increase effective January 1, 2026 for non-union, non-elected positions and adopt a pay scale incorporating the increase.
I'll move that, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. And this is everybody non-union, all our contracts that we have through next year all do include a 3% COLA. Typically non-union stuff follows that for that reason. So any other discussion?
And Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
and in not all these cases, but most of them, there's still a scale
Yep. All of them.
in addition
Well,
to this.
Not all of them.
Not all. Yeah.
In the packet, there is colorful sheet that shows the wage scale.
Everybody does have a scale,
We
yeah.
got some kind of,
There is some sort of scale for a lot of.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same thing. All right, county commissioner compensation per diems and mileage.
I'm gonna recommend a 3% COLA. And then I think there has to be some sort of market adjustment. I've been on this board 19 years and I believe we've had one increase in per diem and maybe 2% raises in 19 years. So that's partially my fault. As I was at AMC and talking to people, we have fallen quite far behind in counties much smaller than us. So the 3% COLA is what I recommend, and then as a way to do a market adjustment, I would recommend going to 115 for per diem.
Okay. You're doing that as a motion?
Yes.
All right. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay. With that, I mean, I've usually brought up our pay every year. Not that, this is a full-time position for the board or anything, but, there is a lot that people don't understand that goes into it. And a lot of work, especially with the committees, the meetings, the outside stuff. But there's a lot of days, especially this fall, I've been here all day, or, we got 3 meetings today. And we had looked at or had conversation I did with Kelly about maybe, having, a per diem per meeting or something to that effect. But that is by statute, you can't. And I do believe with my insurance, I go behind most of the time. So, it does really affect, our wages are not up to par. And I do believe that the citizens do want good people here and if there's not, we can't do it, most of us can't do it just out of kindness of a heart. You gotta have some compensation.
And I understand we can't make a market adjustment to the average.
Yeah.
Of what counties get that have 30,000 people.
Yeah.
But I think it's a start and I think we have to, hopefully, I'm gonna be done in a year. And so I should have started this a long time ago, but I never wanted to give myself a raise and that's my own fault.
Mhm.
But I think for people following, we need to keep up with the times.
Mhm. And by no means does that get us up to the
No,
times, but
no,
it starts trending that
it's
direction.
trending.
I didn't catch a per diem, Mr. Chair.
115,
115, yeah.
115, that's about 900. I mean, depending on how many meetings, I just use an average of 8 meetings a month, which some months I'm twice that much. And that's days, not meetings.
Yeah, yeah,
I had a 3 meeting day yesterday. I
Yeah.
had a 2 meeting day today.
Yeah.
I got one, I mean, that's not uncommon.
yeah. All right, any other discussion?
Maybe in just thinking about your 3%, I was just working up the numbers. I think it's like, it turns up to, correct me if I'm, because we got to
I
put.
have the numbers.
Okay, I had 22, 9, 49 and 43 cents.
I dropped the cents.
You did.
Gotta get rid of pennies.
I was. Two things, you know, maybe we should just be looking at nice round numbers. It's so close to 23. I'm just thinking that may be a little simpler. Because again, we get caught in these percentages things and, you know, when you're at the bottom of the scale, a percentage compared to a percentage at the top, you know, that's one thing. The other thing is, and you talked about it just briefly, the fact that, you know, we're gonna have new people on this board, you know, at some point soon, probably. And we want to attract people that are here, that are bright, that are busy, that are leaders. And if they already are, they're probably having to give up something to do this, which means we need to keep that, we need to be cognizant of that. And so I would echo that sentiment. And so I know I was just the seconder, but instead of doing this odd dollars amount, we're talking about $51 more. Can we just make it
Yeah.
an even
I
23?
don't have an issue with that. I should have thought of that. I didn't do the math.
What is procedure? We have.
To amend the motion?
Just amend it.
I can
A couple of ways.
amend my
If the
motion.
author's okay with it, we can do it that way, or we can do it formally.
I can be okay with 23
Okay,
even.
Point of clarification, the chair typically salary was about 5% higher than the members. How do you want to do that? Because we do have the chair salary
I
separate.
think that's vitally important.
Yeah.
And if it's 5% more, that's probably an easier figure to stay with than a dollar figure.
Okay,
I would include that in my motion if I could restate my motion to say 23,000 even, $115 per diem, with the chair getting 5% over the regular members.
you're okay with
Second
that?
that, yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Just another point of discussion. The chair salary, we changed what, 5-6 years ago or something like
Yeah.
that? Till I was on I think it was the year I became chair, the first time. Person doesn't realize what that entails. There's a lot of stuff to
I
it.
think I made the motion a year after I'd been chair
Yeah.
for about 3 years. And
Yeah.
it's like, you're there a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And, I mean, we all signed up for this gig.
Yeah.
We all tried to do this gig, and that's not the point, but, the chair is a lot of different, there's a lot of different stuff that goes on there. So, it is good to have that designated on there. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oh, same thing. Again, there is a discussion point where people are for and oppose. It'd be nice to have you involved in that if you're gonna oppose, so. But again, that's your choice, and you can look good all you want. Establish citizen board and committee per diems. Consider the approval of resolution 2025-48, establishing per diems for various boards and committees. This resolution does not apply to commissioners, authorized board chair, and county administrator to sign. And this is just set,
per diem rate for the citizens that serve on
That's-
those other committees.
Statutorily set, correct?
It is not, because we have some county established committees.
Yeah.
And then, like the county HRA, I believe that's in statute, but the rest of them typically are just county driven.
Mr. Chair. Yeah, I didn't hear Kelly, sorry. So was there some that were still sitting at 50, Kelly, and they all been at 75? Okay. I'll move it at that.
Okay. Motion by Ludwig,
I'll second it.
second with the fancy ringtone, seconding. Great.
That was a potential.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I do, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Kelly, wasn't the E ECRDC, I think they just naturally matched then, didn't they? It was a $50, but they just matched what our county went by.
I am not sure what they do because they pay the per diem.
Yeah, I believe that's maybe Deb. Can you verify?
I'm not aware.
Because I think that's already been in effect
I think.
for the one I know.
I think some of those boards, this board has been liberal to take the per diem as decided by this board. So you just turn in your regular board per diem.
Yeah, maybe that's what it
Oh,
was,
okay.
but yes, because.
Okay, you were
Even
talking about for
though-
commissioners.
Right, yeah, because the commissioner that said it was $50 at other ones, but I believe it's always been equal to.
We just turn it in under our own.
Gotcha.
and again, we're talking about the citizen board committees and per diems. If you wanted to talk about the commissioner ones, that was the motion before. So,
There's a citizen position on
Yeah,
the ECRDC citizen.
and that's set by that board.
Yes, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
these are all citizen ones.
yes.
Correct.
These are not, none of those are commissioner ones.
No,
So. Thanks for clarifying, Victor.
I don't know what was clarifying about it, but
yeah,
any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same thing. All right, January 6, 2026 organizational meeting. Minnesota statutes 275.07 requires that the board meet at the county seat on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in January. This is known as the organizational or annual meeting. That meeting will be January 6, 2026. Traditionally, the board has met at 10 a.m. The board should confirm a meeting start time. So we need a motion on that.
I will move it, Mr. Chair, but I'll wait first.
Oh, we don't need a
We
motion?
just need to confirm.
We just need to confirm.
everybody.
Everybody,
We need consensus, Kelly?
yeah,
Can we go right to discussion?
That I will be doing that meeting via Zoom.
okay,
Can we go right to discussion then?
yeah, we can have this.
So, yeah, I just, I think we talked about this a while ago. And I don't know how you want to do it, but it's sometime during the year, if we think it would work out. Is there a way we could move to an evening meeting so maybe more of the public could attend and not work? I know it's hard for everybody and it's hard for us staff, but is it, maybe we could pick a window or sometime, but.
And we could discuss that at the organizational meeting.
Okay.
We have I mean, we do have a couple meetings a year at night. Truth and Taxation, Board of Equalization. Them are open to the public to come as well. But yeah, we can have that discussion for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work because it's probably
I
just
just-
for people, but.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I know this, you decide not to have a discussion, but since I've been on the board, we have tried that a few times. We found out that we got just as many people at night as we did in the day. And sometimes they had been at the local establishment longer than they should have before they got there, so it didn't turn out the best.
Well, I think the only way it would work is if we had some way to publicly
Just my
announce it a
opinion.
few months ahead of time or a month ahead of time or something.
Mr. Chair, question, was it typically the same people?
Yeah.
That would come during the daytime than the evening?
Yeah,
Okay, so
Just a
everybody,
thought, Mr. Chair.
yep, we got a consensus on the January 2026 board.
Okay.
Good. All right, we will move on to commissioner updates. Facility committee canceled, negotiation, which one, where, how, what, and why?
I think you gave it all of them.
We have quite a few contracts settled. We still have what, one? Two open, and we're gonna be working on one of them this afternoon.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I don't remember who's settled or if even that's done yet, but, yeah, we're getting it. So. If anybody's got any questions on them, they can contact me or Matt, but probably Jackie would be your best one to contact, so. AMC Annual Conference, I'll let you guys go first on that.
Well, I went to several trashy meetings, but they were actually very good. There are some consortiums of counties that are doing waste to energy or some variant of that. So we've in a lot of the East Central Solid Waste Board, I saw there were four of us at one meeting, I know. I was very intrigued with what they do in Ramsey and Washington County, where they give you a bag, it's a yellow bag, and you throw your food scraps in there. They have eliminated about 35% of their total weight of waste. You put that bag in your normal trash, their sorting equipment pulls that bag out, it goes to a digester facility, and they make methane gas and compost out of it. They get the cans, of course, their volume of waste is way bigger than ours. But the one stat I had to have the lady say it twice, they take 1 ton of aluminum cans per day out of their waste stream. That takes a lot of cans to make a ton of cans. But, the volume, and they're pulling out everything they can. They call it the fluff, the paper stuff that'll burn. It goes to an Xcel Energy pump, and it gets turned into electricity. The people in Perham, they have a multi-county facility. It's not big enough to handle all their waste, but they probably use about half of it goes into a waste energy facility, and they produce steam. And luckily, the Tuffy dog food plant is right across the fence from their facility, and they use steam to run their facility. And there's another food manufacturer in town that takes the rest of the steam. So got a couple of tours lined up. We are talking about doing a lot more sorting at East Central Solid Waste, because the construction debris facility in Rush City is not taking as much as they used to. And so we're getting a lot more construction waste, and we know we should be able to pull a lot of stuff out of there. So that's what I learned at AMC. Oh, wait a minute. No, one more thing on transportation. The biggest thing that we've talked about this year in transportation is the wetland mitigation. If you're going to do a project at your land, you got to mitigate if you have to mitigate a wetland, you got to buy an acre of credit. If you're doing it for a road, it's a 2 to 1, and then sometimes 3 to 1, depending on the area, but 2 to 1. So we're just simply asking legislators to make that a 1 to 1 replacement, and to speed up the process.
Okay. Sounds good. Roger, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I thought it was a great conference. There was lots of seminars. I did attend one early on Sunday that had to do with the ag economy and the effect on counties. And it may not be as prevalent here, but we get to other areas of our state that are their property tax is derived from a high degree from ag. And what's happening in the ag situation right now with the economy is poor. And so that effect is be felt by counties. How do you raise it when, and how do valuations go up and yet there's no money to pay those things? So it was a very interesting discussion and presentation. I also thought, I'm part of the Health and Human Services Committee, and of course, it was dominated by the, what we already talked about, African American Act and. So,
Mr. Chair.
yeah.
So how do you feel about that Northern Conference? Is that working for you?
Yeah, I'll get to that, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that. I
Okay,
see it's on the agenda next, so
okay.
maybe I'll just. I'll
I thought
answer
you were on that. I
questions.
was reading something else.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
sorry.
yeah.
Anything else? Okay, let's go down line. Paul Dan?
Yeah, I had a couple, the transportation also. We talked a lot about the automated cars and the struggles they're having with those with our Minnesota weather. We talked about the pilot program where they're using them down in the bigger city of Rochester. Also with what Commissioner Holland said with the wetland mitigation, with roads, also that would be, city streets that would happen to fall in the same, supposed wetland. And with the ratio of replacement, just gave me an opportunity. I bumped into, the director of the DNR and, just got to chat a little bit with her about, wetland situation going on with the street in our county, some streets, and just some consistency where there was a DNR activity where they impacted several tens of acres down just east of Mavericks out of the forest, and just that size of an impact and the amount of acreage and the time it took to mitigate that, which was literally minutes, and they deemed it, no loss, nothing to see. I'm just trying to make a connection there with what we as a county have to go through for roads and cities have to go through for streets, especially if streets aren't even in a wetland map. So it was a good opportunity to talk to the director of the DNR about that. I can't find the name of it. I think it's just like for offenders that get let out of prison. They had a good meeting on that, just talking about how to help them, what to do with them so they don't reoffend. And of course, that's a struggle. Funding is, of course, been a struggle with monies in St. Paul lately, not to get on another subject about money in St. Paul, but they were just saying where they have their halfway houses, it seems to be working really well, especially when people get released and, they haven't even had a birthday cake their entire life. Seems like they just have a real bad upbringing. They get in the prison system and then they're released, and how do you help them out and what do you do? That was the other one. I sat in a little bit on the what would HR do? That seminar, meeting, got some good pointers in there. That's about it, I guess. And then just a good opportunity to network with other counties. The hot topic, of course, was our levy, comparing ours to other counties and the percentage where we were at. And Commissioner Nelson had said, I don't think we're gonna get bumped up at all. I think we're still sitting pretty good with our amount. So.
I have one, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just cover public safety quick. The bulk of our meeting was about the Department of Corrections and how they come in and inspect the jails and guide the jails and operations for the nurses, medical professionals, and all the practices that happen in the jail. And the problem is that different people come and they have different sets. They apply the rules differently. They're not consistent even from one inspection to the next, which creates problems for a doctor who signs on and like for our jail, they have to have a medical director that signs on or some person. So that was part of it. And then the disruption of services that happened when the people are in the jail. So that was our platform amendment. We had a long debate there. So that the amendment went, is it going to the state just to have technical assistance guide that's going to be consistent through all the jails through the state. So they're gonna, if they have to put a person in there to keep it that way or whatever. So that's where we ended up. So.
Yeah, I know in my policy committee, I was in general government, we had 13 amendments to vote on. So, in 2 hours, we did get through all of them. So it was very good discussion, a lot of good stuff there. The keynote speakers I thought were really good. The one was on why truth matters. I do think that is really good, especially in our field. I did sit on then what would HR do as well, especially given in the last little bit what's been going on in this county. I think that's a good one and hopefully will help going forward. Otherwise, the networking and just getting together with people typically see maybe once or twice a year is nice. See how they're doing, see what's going on, see what's new. I think one thing you find is sometimes we think we're in a silo and typically other counties are going through the same stuff we are. So it's nice to know that, nice to see what's going on. And yeah, it's always good. I wish I could be there a little more. That was the only thing. Me and Matt left a little early on Tuesday because the snowstorm was coming and we wanted to get ahead of it and that was it. But yeah,
Did anybody comment on the speakers yet?
I did a little bit on the.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good. This year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's been there a few times, David.
of course, Augur.
So, do you want to add anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I thought the last speaker
I thought
was
she was-
actually you guys missed that.
Mhm. Yeah,
On
Sandy.
Wednesday morning was really perfect.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to hear that one, JT, the Wednesday morning?
No, I did not, but the other speaker was Alicia Bell. That was who was that, Steve, the National Association of Counties, she's from Michigan. She spoke, that would have been Tuesday morning.
Yeah, that was just talking about NACO.
Yeah, the NACO, the National Association, and again, her name was Alicia Bell. So
The speaker though, what was the keynote speaker that?
thanks for putting me on the spot.
Yeah,
Daishali is her first name, and Jadhab.
and that one was,
Courage to innovate, culture where ideas thrive.
yeah,
Very good also.
yeah, that one was good. Yeah, years past, we've had it where some of the speakers were just not very good. And this,
It's hard to pick
It
a
is.
keynote speaker.
it is,
You hear them one place and
Yeah.
they come and they kind of have a bad day and doesn't go as well.
yep. All right, now, Nelson, you want to get on to
Sure,
Northern?
Northern counties, great. Good question that you asked. So Northern counties did meet as part of AMC, one of those evenings. And we had, for that meeting, we had the Commissioner of DNR there as well, Sarah Strawman. And so a couple of things that we did talk about, invasive species, wolf and elk depredation. And here's the interesting thing. From Cook to Kittison to Pennington to Pine, we all have these exact same issues and to varying degrees. And they heard, when I said they, it wasn't just the commissioner, but she had a couple other people with her. And they heard that unified message from all these northern counties saying, we got a problem. We got a problem with this area and we need some, well, they did share their, when I say we, talked about, some of the possible remedies, suggested to them. But it was interesting, again, that it's a unified, it's more than just one county. And I didn't know that they were so passionate about some of these issues as we are. And they are, and that was great to hear. Another one of the issues that came up, and we may not have such an issue with this but other counties do, and that's that shoreland belt. And so, and that was a big issue that they pressed. Now, as far as going forward, northern counties, we had our year of free, any year, any county that wants to join has a full first free year to see what it's like. And then they have to make a decision. Now we have to make a decision. I'm gonna recommend the next year that we do join, but
Okay, good, because what do we pay for to be an Arrowhead?
That I don't know.
Because that, I am not. I say we just go to one for the north, so we could, yeah, that's okay. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think there's a significant,
You can get that ready for us for,
Yeah, when we talk about what, yeah,
so I'd rather pull out of Arrowhead because that focus is so different and go and put our,
you're dominated by one county that's maybe dwarfs all the rest.
Right.
We don't have that in, even though they're part of northern counties, they are not like the majority at all.
No, they're one of-
Yes, and there are issues now, as first year, I'm not gonna be like bringing all kinds of stuff to the table. But there are some things that we can bring to the table that I'm sort of planning on this next year with them. And they do have a next mechanism of discussing some of those things. So,
yeah, see, I was trying to make all those Arrowheads and it's hard to do.
so,
The Arrowhead's $2,750.
so we're actually saving money.
yeah.
We'd actually be saving $700 by joining Northern or as a paying member rather than going with Arrowhead.
Right.
So can we do a consensus at the same time with the board doing this? That
Yeah.
if we could pull ourselves out of Arrowhead, then
yeah, we'll have that discussion with the organization.
Is that, yeah.
are you guys fine with that? I am.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have the discussion at the organizational meeting.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, good. I'm glad that's going good. Soil and Water Conservation District. Ludwig, I think that would be right.
Yeah, it was a great meeting, but I know we're running over time, but I gotta just give you some good stats here. So our forester there, he has 3,000 acres enrolled in stewardship plan, which is, and it's 45% new acreage there. That's a good thing. Another stat we have is Pine County interacts with Bowser more than any other county in the state. Because of the stuff that's happening. Carlton and Pine County are tied with the number of farmers that are certified with the ag certification on their farms. So Carlton was number one for a long time, and now Pine County caught up and tied him, and he thinks we might pass him in a month. So, which is pretty good news, really. I mean, they're working hard. It's a good group of people. And I'll leave it at that, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Kettle, Upper St. Croix, one watershed, one plan.
It's no meeting.
Shack.
I was unavailable to make that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was it?
I was unavailable to make that meeting.
Thank you.
Law Library, I was in negotiation. Or in between, yeah, something. Did you make it?
I did,
Okay.
yeah.
Did they have a quorum?
We did, Mr.
Okay,
Chair, and it
good.
was very brief and it was mainly a discussion of budget and the future of the library.
Okay. Sounds good. Central Minnesota Jobs and Training.
That was last Friday and I made that meeting and that was, it's funny, I was on that maybe for many years and then I was off for 4 or 5 years. And it's like the whole board is new, except for Rick Green, I think. But anyway, the mission that they're doing is pretty much the same. you know, at this meeting, we just, heard a lot of reports on operations that they're doing, grants and stuff. Nothing earth shattering.
Okay. Any other meetings?
Yep, I have another.
Okay, we'll start.
This is for you, Mr. Chair. This is yours.
Oh,
Sir. Appreciation for being our chair.
oh, okay.
There you go.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I had a couple. We had East Central Solid Waste, yesterday.
Okay.
And, everything was going along good. We have on Thursday, there's an open house at the Cambridge Reuse Store. The commission built the building and, a nonprofit organization has been working with us for about a year and a half. And, what they do is they come and they pull stuff that would normally have gone in the garbage. It's headed for the garbage. Somebody's bringing it in their back of their pickup, going to the garbage. Somebody there says, whoa, somebody could use that. They pull it out and they've been working out of a couple of shipping containers and now they're moving into this build. They moved into this building. The day I was there, honest to goodness, there was a brand new ping pong table. It had everything you need to go home and set it up in your basement and have your kids play ping pong. It was new, brand new. And so they pull a lot of that stuff out. The Better Futures is a nonprofit that helps incarcerated people as they get out of prison, find a pathway, get them jobs and that kind of stuff. So they pay for the person that's running this store in Cambridge. We just provided the building. They pay for it. They pay for that person and then we get a percentage of the profit that they make comes back to the commission. So it's pretty, the big win for us is we'll keep track of how many tons of stuff that keeps out of our landfill. But, you know, as a person that hates to throw away anything, and it's great to see stuff that can be reused. So if you're looking for a grill or a snow blower or something like that, you might want to check that store out.
Well, what I think is cool about it is people still donate to the thrift stores and whatever, but this is all stuff people literally threw in the garbage.
They just couldn't think of anything else to do with it, so they threw it in the garbage. And they didn't want to have a garage sale.
Yep. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I had ERDC last night. Thing I learned there is they have a little money left to do an energy audit on a building. So if we have a county building, I don't know, I was thinking of the building next door that we want to do an energy audit. They have grant money that they could do that, get a hold of Nicole Kloster and maybe we could do something like that. They did the John Wright building here in Sandstone. They've been all over East Central Minnesota, but really of no cost to the public entities. And going back to AMC, I went to the Indian Affairs meeting. Tim Sumner, who's a Red Lake tribal member, has been our chairman. And he has been tapped now by NACO to be the chairman of the Indian Affairs Committee at NACO. Quite an honor. He's really a cool guy. So glad I got to know him. But the new chair is a young lady who grew up in the Mille Lacs Band over at Mille Lacs Lake. And she's on the Ramsey County Board. So we're excited she knows all the people that we meet with here. So that's she's a very energetic young lady. That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything, other meetings? Anything other to come before the board? Okay, well, appreciate it. got a lot of stuff done, and are we under 2 hours? We're under 2 hours. So,
That sounds like.
with that,